Let's kick things off with the crime kingpin of America, Donald J. Trump. This guy, man, he has so many court cases going right now. He's charged with stolen documents, election interference, porn star hush money, and of course, kidnapping. Yeah. But here in New York, the charge is that he lied about his real estate business so he could get better bank deals and tax breaks. And because this is the Trump family business, the kids are also getting dragged into court.
Tonight, the first of Donald Trump's children taking the stand as a witness in the civil fraud trial that could tear the family real estate business apart. Donald Trump Jr. and his brother Eric took control of the Trump Organization when their father became president. Trump Jr. described himself as just a real estate broker. And when asked if he was familiar with basic accounting practices or was a member of an accounting organization, he answered, "Sounds exciting, but no." Judge Arthur Engoron has already determined financial documents signed by Trump Jr. fraudulently inflated his father's net worth by as much as $2 billion. Today, Trump Jr. testified he wasn't really aware of what he was signing, saying, "I leave it to my CPAs."
Y'all think he's full of shit, right? Yeah. But that's because y'all are Trump haters, all right? I believe this man. I really do. Don Jr.'s defense is that he has no idea what's going on in his own company and doesn't even really understand business at all, which seems right to me. Does anyone think this man is a criminal mastermind? The only fraud he's capable of is pretending a beard is a jawline, all right? And I know you're like, oh, so you think the Trumps just signed all these things without knowing what they said? Yeah. That's what everybody does. Every website you've ever been on has asked you to sign something, and you did it without reading it. Mark Zuckerberg might own all of our kidneys, all right? But let's move on, because for a long time now, America has been struggling to overcome its racist past, yeah. And the good news is, we're just about done with all the big issues, okay? All the big issues have been solved. All that's left is birds.
The New York Times says birds in the Americas will no longer be named after people. The group responsible for standardizing English bird names says it will rename all species honoring people. It's being done to no longer pay tribute to those with racist pasts, such as John James Audubon. The famous bird illustrator was a slave owner who opposed abolishing slavery.
Yeah, racists it up for everybody again. We found out that some birds are named after slave owners, so now every bird's got to go down to the DMV and get a new ID. But you know what? Fine. Let's get rid of the human bird names. And while we're at it, let's get rid of all the mean ones, too. Everyone keeps reminding that eagle that is bald. If Chris Rock can't say that to Jada, why do we say it about our national bird? Keep my eagle's name out of your mouth. Finally, let's move on to George Santos, New York Congressman and faith-tuned Chris Christie. Santos has been accused of lying and cheating everyone he's ever known out of money. And last night, Republicans in Congress finally had enough and held a vote to expel him. But the outcome wasn't what you'd expect.
Overnight, Congressman George Santos surviving a rare vote to oust him from Congress. 24 Republicans joining most Democrats to expel Santos, but the resolution falling far short of the 2/3 majority needed to pass. Santos defiant.
I feel like due process is still alive.
The push to expel Santos was put forward by his fellow New York Republicans, pointing to his lies about his background, from his education and work experience to his religion and family history. He even falsely claimed his mother was in the 9/11 attacks. But even lawmakers who find all that concerning warn expelling Santos before his trial ends would set a dangerous precedent.
Is there a scenario in which you would step down and resign?
No.
Look, man, we all know George Santos is full of shit, right? He'd be the first person in history to make a polygraph test go, what the f***? But this is another example of how Republicans just don't care. Anybody else would flee in shame if they were caught doing half the stuff he did. But this dude is like, I ain't resigning. Prove my mama didn't personally jump out of the Twin Towers and land on Osama bin Laden's head. For more on the vote to expel George Santos, we go live to the Capitol with Grace Kuhlenschmidt. Grace! Now, Grace, you got to tell me, how did George Santos survive this vote?
So inspirational, right? He's overcome so much. His crimes, his lies about his crimes that involve lying. He's a survivor, his home is open. You get it.
But, Grace, the evidence is so clear. How did the House not vote to expel him?
Because it sets a bad precedent. Then they'd have to expel every congressperson who commits a crime. And George Santos is hardly the only criminal in Congress. The only difference is that most other Congress people are a little more discreet with their crimes and a lot more discreet with their homosexuality.
Oh. But, Grace, there's got to be a standard of behavior for our elected officials, right?
Yeah, but at the same time, Santos makes everyone in Congress look better. Now Lauren Boebert can say, hey, he stole a veteran's dog's cancer money. Who cares if I dry cranked a guy at a musical? Charlamagne, it's just good management to keep your dumbest employee around to make everyone else look better. That's why my manager at The Gap told me I was basically unfireable. They had to keep me no matter how many mannequins I dry cranked.
Grace, come on. Please stop saying dry crank. I'm just saying that we need to be able to take our representatives seriously.
Oh, hard disagree. We've got 435 Congress people. That leaves room for at least one, joke congressperson, you know? Like how NSYNC had Joey Fatone. A fat Italian guy in a boy band? Pretty funny, NSYNC.
I like Joey Fatone, but what happens if Santos is convicted of these alleged crimes? They'll have to expel him then, right?
Maybe. Or maybe we should just let him cook and see what kind of new crimes he comes up with. I mean, he could steal a Zamboni and demolish the cast of Disney on Ice. Or launch an orphanage into space. Either way, everybody's having a good time, except for the orphans.
So, are you saying we should take pleasure in this mess, Grace?
Exactly. It's uncomfortable, but let's try to enjoy it like getting dry cranked.
All right, that's enough. Grace Kuhlenschmidt, everybody.